recording, I believe. Yeah, start recording. Okay, fine. So these are students actually. That is regular. Some this thing. I think some people still this thing. So shall we start? So in fact, I have not checked your assignment. Okay, as of today, but still there are some 13 wonders. Okay, people those who have not submitted, I am least bothered. If you don't submit in time, what I will do, I will not award the full marks. It is noticed that if at all I notice that if you have copied, I have already cautioned. Okay, if you copy, you will get 0. Similarly, I will go from the back. Again, I told who will be submitting, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನಾ ಮೊದಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಹಂಗ ಹಿಂಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ನನಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮೇಲ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಮೇಲಿಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್. And in case any discrepancy is there, you are most welcome to clarify that. Okay. Hope nobody is again entering and then trying to this thing. I allowed everyone. It is already 12 minutes what I am discussing. I will directly go to the helical gear. I have made a presentation, very small presentation, which I will be showing that. Is that okay? Abhishek Hosur. Abhishek Hosur. Abhishek Hosur. Abhishek Hosur, is that okay? I think they are chatting. 1 second. Yes, sir. He is telling yes, sir. Fine. Okay, I'll just this thing share my screen. I'll share my screen and then do the presentation very slowly. It will be again Google that the YouTube video. It will be available. See the people, if they join late, it will be a problem for me. 1 second. This is the last person whom I will be admitting. Later, I will not admit. Sidrameshwar, you have to come well within the time, Baba. When others can come, why you can't come? Sidrameshwar. I think henceforth I will not be admitting anybody because it's already time. Okay. So this is basically the helical gear. So helical gear, you know, that is a teeth, particular tooth actually. Teeth is singular, tooth plural. Okay, the teeth are cut, tooth are cut, not parallel to the axis. That means, so if you, I'll just show that annotation. 1 second, I'll show the annotation. I think I just forgot to add one video here. Sorry. Okay, this, suppose this is axis. Okay, if it is the that gear. Okay, suppose say something like this. Okay, so you have the hole over here. Suppose say the teeth are not cut parallel. Okay, so they are not cut parallel. They will be having some angle they will be having with respect to horizontal axis. This is the helix angle beta. I can't admit, so please tell that guy. So I'll not go back. Okay, this is the helix angle. This is the helix angle beta. So that is how. And always remember that opposite helix, these things are going to get contacted. 1 second, I think there is some problem. Anybody please ping, just ping.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any voice something problem, I think still people are
No,
waiting.
sir, no as
Okay, still
So
I
it's
think
clear, sir.
okay, fine. I'm just admitting 46. I will not admit because I heard some unregular sound. That is why. So sometime I'll ask, please cope up. Okay, so fine. So I think okay, fine. Can you able to see my screen now? Helical gear screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So that is always opposite hand gears will mutually come in contact. It may be surprising for you. That is LH gear will meet with RH. How to find out which is LH, which is RH, that we will see in the next subsequent slide. So just to see, you can able to, I think my screen, you can able to see. 1 second, I'll take a highlighter. So just to see the axis of gear here, it is red color what I am doing. The axis is somewhere here. Axis means how to hold the gear, that also matters a lot. So the gear axis should be perpendicular to your body axis. Okay, body axis means how the man standing like this, his body axis is vertical. Okay, so vertical with respect to man's body axis, you should hold the gear axis perpendicular to that, perpendicular to that. So perpendicular means 90 degree to that you should make. And if the teeth are descending towards your left hand side means this is left, this is right. Okay, so the teeth are descending on the left hand side, so this is LH gear, that is left hand helix gear. Okay, on the other side, so this top, this thing pinion you just see, so if you just see, if you, this particular teeth are descending on the right hand side. Okay, so I'll just show it here. So they are descending right hand side, so this pinion is right hand. Okay, RH, it is RH hand. Okay, so always remember, opposite hand gears will be meeting each other. LH will meet RH, RH will meet LH. Okay, so that is how this is the three-dimensional figure. And on the contrary, you can see the two, that is the top view or side view of this. Okay, so this is one. Okay, in fact, the section is shown. Of course, there are a lot many parameters which are confusing, which I will not confuse you also. Okay, so just look into that. So this is I think he has held this like this. Okay, so I think the axis is like this, the axis is vertical in this case. You rotate that, so he has written here, it is right hand helix, and this one he has this is the left hand helix. Okay, this is one part. Okay, that is pinion, and this is the larger one is going to be the gear. Okay, so that is always left hand and right hand will meet. And since this particular tooth profile is not parallel to the axis, you notice that the forces what you resolve, okay, forces what you resolve, they are neither perpendicular to the tooth profile nor parallel to the tooth profile. So you have to make them perpendicular to the tooth profile and parallel to the tooth profile. Parallel this thing to the tooth profile, that is called as axial component, that is called as axial component. Yeah.
पूरी तुम्हारा पसंद है वो पसंद है वो क्या करता है हम बोला बोले
Hello.
hello
Hello. Mute. Who is that? Who is that? Mute your audio. Who is that? Yeah, any doubt? Any doubt? Any doubt? Hello? Anybody is having doubt?
Yes. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Unnecessarily don't mute. Okay, I think only Darshan. Others, please mute. If I get disturbance again, it will be a problem. Okay, I am continuing. Am I audible? If I am not audible, some of you can, I think, Rohan Rangoli, if he is there, I think phone number, you please call, immediately call if my voice goes off. Of course, I get the information here in case that signal problem. Yeah. Yeah, Amit, please unnecessarily don't unmute yourself. Please, okay, I'll come to know who has muted, who has unmuted. Only thing I have to come out of that screen. Unnecessarily don't waste my time and your time as well. I'm just continuing with this. Okay, so this continuity will go otherwise. Okay, so that axial force will come. That axial force will be along the that shaft axis. Just look into that shaft axis, and there it is a very interesting and very sometimes confusing as well. Okay, 1 second, I think I don't know what happened. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So this is going to be the shaft axis. So what you have to do, looking into the direction of the rotation of the gear, you should use your right hand thumb rule. It is called right hand thumb rule. Means, suppose say this particular gear. Okay, 1 second. I think what happened to this. Yeah, this particular gear is rotating above. Okay, this particular gear, we will not worry, this is a gear, this is a pinion, smaller one is pinion, it is rotating in this direction. So throw show your, I think I'll start my video. 1 second, I think I have switched my video off. I'll just 1 second, just 1 second, I'll just I'll just start my video as well, so that I think I will on my this thing. I think still people are pouring. Abhishek Naidu. 1 second. I think This is a problem. It needs a huge. I think now. I think I can. You can able to see me. Okay, fine. I'll just go to 1 second. 1 second. Share screen, and I will. This is the problem. Just hold on. Just hold on. Okay. Share this. I'm just showing you how that this thing right hand thumb rule. Okay, I think you can able to see. Yeah, here I was. Okay, I think I don't know. Okay, am my this thing is seen? Can you able to see my this thing?
No,
No. Or
no, sir.
okay, fine. I think okay.
Now it is
Anyway,
visible, sir.
leave it. I think video has gone. Leave it. Okay, so audible actually. So you make your right hand palm downwards. Kai kelag madri. So fingers will give the direction of rotation of the gear, and your thumb will show the axial thrust. Where you should have 1 second. You should have the this the thrust bearing. So this is called a thrust bearing. It is called because the axial thrust has to be what you say compensated, or it has to be stopped actually. Otherwise the gear contact will not be there. This gear will just slip away. Okay, so for that one drawback of the helical gear is you should have the thrust bearing compulsorily. But whereas spur gear thrust bearing is not required because the teeth are cut parallel to axis. Only radial bearings are sufficient. But here you should have the thrust bearing as well as radial bearing for helical gear. You remember that. Okay, of course, this how to see that and all I will explain once again in the next corresponding slide. And here what you can see on the extreme right hand side, you can just see here. Okay, extreme, I think I am encircling. So this is called as double helical gear or herringbone gear. HERRING, herringbone gear, helical or herringbone gear. It is called double. It is something like a tractor wheel. Okay, sometimes if your power transmitted to be more, okay, in that time, so you will go for such kind of gears. Okay, that is herringbone gears. That is also there for your syllabus. It is a double helical gear. Only one equation you have to substitute separate. Rest all will be same. Okay, is it clear? Am I audible? No issue, no?
No, sir. No, sir.
Any one of you? Okay,
No
fine.
issue,
I'll
sir.
just continue with that. Okay, fine. I'll continue. So just look into that. So here, one more interesting. So I think whatever I have told, 1 second, whatever I have told in the previous, it is here. Okay, it is here. Just look into, I have zoomed that. So there are two, red color and then green color, two cases. Okay, both the cases, the down one pinion is the driver. And then that gear is the driven. The gear is the top. Okay, so please note down, this is rotating in this direction, which is that gear is rotating in this direction. In the direction of arrow, you make your right hand palm facing your foot. Right hand palm kai enadalla kaal kade noduvanga madri. So your thumb right hand thumb will give you the direction of axial thrust where you should have the bearing. This is called thrust bearing. Now it is clear. It is for this. And similarly for this, what you do, you make again right hand thumb only, but you make a thumb that right hand palm upward. Why upwards? Because the direction is towards you. The direction of the rotation is towards you. The thumb will indicate, the thumb will be on the right hand side, which will indicate the supporting bearing should come on this side. Is it clear? Have you made each one of you tried this and understood how the axial thrust is applying? Here you should make it downward. Your palm, that kai enidella, kai kelag madri. Okay, so your fingers, all four fingers will be pointing towards the direction of that arrow, which will indicate the direction of rotation looking from top side. On the other end, that bottom the pinion, which is a driver, that direction is towards you. Now what you do, you make a palm upside facing towards the sky and turn the fingers towards you. That is in the direction whatever that red color is shown. And your thumb ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, hebbet, that will be indicating the direction of axial thrust, and on that side only you should have the thrust bearing. Okay, so all of you noticed this, all of you have understood, or I will just
Yes,
switch
sir.
and I'll just show 1 second, I'll show in the this thing. uh, okay, I'll just, I think I'm not visible. Video is off now. I think when I share that, I think it will not come. When I share that, it will not come. I should stop sharing, then only video will come. That is what it is showing. Yeah, I think now camera is on. Okay, now I think so. Just see. So this is my palm. Okay, so right hand palm, if you make the direction like this down, so this thumb is what? This is a thumb will show the axial thrust. When is that? That is a top side gear.
Not
Okay, when
visible,
I
sir.
do
Sir, not visible.
that,
Not visible.
video is not
No, sir.
visible.
No, sir. Only voice is audible, sir.
It's visible,
Uh,
sir.
Visible, sir, visible.
no, just check my video. It is visible, I believe. Just to see, I think downside it is. Okay, that palm. Can you see my hand? Can you see my hand?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you see? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes,
you have
sir.
to make the hand like this, the top gear. Okay, like this. So that is the fingers, the fingers point that gear rotation, and thumb will represent the axial thrust for the top one. Top, I'll again re-show that. Okay, you also make and you will understand. For the bottom side, what you have to do, you have to make the palm like this. You have to make the palm like this, and fingers towards you. Why? Because the direction is downwards, and thumb represent the axial thrust. Okay, I'll just stop here, and then I'll go back to sharing. Okay, I'll just stop the video. I'll go back to the sharing, and I'll show that. I think you have to do this exercise. You will understand it in a better way. Okay, I'll just share this. I'll go to this. Okay, just look into that. So whatever I have told so far, so that is what is being shown on the extreme right hand side of my screen, which I have shown the colored red color. Okay, the direction of this particular gear is here. That is just see the pointing of that arrow. You have to make your right hand towards that particular, and your thumb will represent the axial thrust, which is shown over here for this gear. And for the bottom one, you have to make your right hand this thing for that fingers. Okay, all fingers towards the direction of arrow, and your thumb, right hand thumb, will show the axial thrust towards, you will have the thrust bearing. Similarly for this as well as for this, which I am not going to explain in detail. You have to do this practice and make yourself how the axial thrust plays an predominant role, and you have to take care of that in case of helical gear. I think here you can just see on the right hand side. Now you see this on the right hand side. Okay, I have the gear. So can anybody tell me what kind of this is it a LH gear or RH gear? Anybody quickly? This is LH or RH? I told how to see LH gear, how to see how to identify RH gear. Anybody? Hello, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the gear? I think anybody can tell what is the kind of gear? What is the kind of gear? This one, right hand side. Just see, right hand side, what is the kind of gear? Is it LH or RH? What I told actually, anybody can recall? Anybody? Hello? Are you concentrating or no? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah, tell me then why you are not telling. Yeah, is it LH or RH? Quickly. Quickly, any one of you. Huh? One second. Yeah, tell me. LH, it is left hand, because you just see the
LH.
axis of gear. Yeah, the axis of gear is here. Okay, which is perpendicular to your body axis. When you stand in front, you hold the gear perpendicular to your body axis. When you stand, your body axis is vertical and the axis of gear is like this. Okay, so towards your left hand side, these teeth are descending. So this is called as LH gear. Okay, so that whatever that force is there, if you resolve. Yeah, I think somebody is asking. Please mute that somebody. Okay, please don't unmute unnecessarily. Okay, so this is LH gear. I told how to see that LHRH. Go back to that video. Anyway, I'll be putting in this thing. Please watch the videos. Okay, I'll immediately after the class, before your this thing lunch hour, I'll just share that. You please go through those videos. Done. And then SS will be given through YouTube this thing, and please share that. Do not delete again, as I am repeating. Okay, so when you resolve the force, so one is going to be tangential. This is going to be the normal force. Actually, you have to resolve that tangential, and then that is normal is perpendicular to this. So this tangential is in the direction of rotation, and one more force perpendicular to the tangential force, that is called as end thrust or axial thrust. So this axial thrust will see to it that disengages the contact of gear, for which you should have the bearing, that is a thrust bearing. Okay, and again, since the teeth are not parallel, you should take two different sections. Just see. So this is the top view of that. So the gear axis is somewhere here. One axis you have to take. Gear axis is somewhere here, not here. Actually, not A is not. Gear axis is here, vertical only. Okay, here it is horizontal, here it is vertical. Please make a note of that. Okay, here it is vertical. So once you have to take perpendicular to that particular axis, that is section AA. So this is section AA. When you take in a section AA, that is called a peripheral direction section. Okay, peripheral direction section, that is alpha. The angle alpha will be there. So that is the rotational direction angle. So I'll tell that what is the name of that angle. And in another section, you should take a section BB perpendicular to the tooth profile. These are actually teeth. These are actually teeth. Okay, or single tooth or multiple teeth. Okay, you have to take section. When you take that, it will be something like this, section BB. And this is, I think, they has not told. Okay, so the helix angle is here. You just see with respect to horizontal, helix angle is this. Okay, helix angle is this, I think, which he has not shown here. So anyway, so helix angle is with respect to horizontal, and then that. Okay, so you will get two angles, section BB one angle, section AA one angle, and always that module, whatever you calculate, it is not in the direction of rotation. It is in the direction of that is plane perpendicular to the tooth profile. That is the normal module. It is called a normal module. So the equations what you are going to refer in helical gear are not same as that of spur gear, and you should refer everything from spur gear section only. Okay, and further there is going to be some more important nomenclature which I am going to present next. Okay, one second. I think to just, I think I have to. Okay, I'll just go to here. Yeah, I think here, just see, I think I'll just take a laser point. Okay, so there is a lot of these things. I think that is beta is helix angle. Okay, beta is helix angle, and there is one more, alpha L and alpha N is a normal angle, normal plane and normal angle, and transfer plane and transfer angle. I think earlier it was alpha N. It was not clear. I told I will be telling in the next slide. So this is what alpha N means: a normal plane. Normal plane means a plane perpendicular to the tooth profile, and transfer plane means plane in the direction of rotation. Remember that, normal plane and then transfer plane. There are two. Okay, so which are not going to be exactly perpendicular. Okay, only normal plane, this thing will be perpendicular, and when you resolve that particular normal force, okay, you will get a transfer this thing FT, and then perpendicular to that, so you will get a axial, and of course you also get the radial FR. Okay, that is FR, FA, axial, and then FT. Okay, ft is not been written over here. I think ft is written here. Yeah, just see ft. So this is, I think, just look it carefully. This is ft, what I am traversing, and the vertical is fr. Fr is radial. In addition to that, there is an axial force fa along the axis of this. Okay, depending upon that, this figure is given in your data book for fa and all. You have to refer this particular equations, and then with trigonometric correlation, you should find the corresponding value, which I will not be spending more of the time. Okay, it is page number 212. Go through your data book 212. Okay, so I'll also open 212. Okay, so I think you just see there helical gear geometry and forces. Okay, that is you have details of force in normal. Fr, you have one equation. Fa, you have one equation. And ft and fr, they are correlated by tan alpha. Alpha is a transfer plane. Alpha is an angle in a transfer plane, and alpha n is angle in a normal plane. Okay, and again beta is the helix angle. Generally beta will be given. There is also something called as psi. Okay, psi is also there. So for all the nomenclatures, you should refer the beginning of the topic. What is that psi, phi, and all those parameters you refer while solving the problem. I'll get back, so I'll not be again delivering more upon that, because it is going to be little confusing. Beta is helix angle, that is gamma is a lead angle, and psi, I think he has not given. Probably in the helical gear section he might have given. Helical gear section, I think alpha n, psi is not been given. Anyway, so we'll just see while solving the problem. We'll just check that. Okay, we'll continue with this. Okay, done. I'll just stop here. 1 second. Laser point, let it go. Yeah, and again there is some more. This derivation is not there, but there is some. In fact, I'll try to explain with respect to this. Okay, there is something called as virtual number of teeth. What is that virtual? If you just recall your first year engineering drawing, okay, true length and apparent length, you remember? Anybody? Hello, anybody remember true length, apparent length?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, this, yeah, equal, yeah, mute, please. Equivalent number of teeth means, I'll read it. Actually, it is a number of teeth equivalent to spur gear in an imaginary plane perpendicular to the helix angle. So just to see, I'll just do very slowly. Okay, this I will be sharing later, which you can able to pause and then take a screenshot and write it in your notes. It is just for your information. Okay, I think there is no derivation. Only you should remember that is something called as equivalent number of teeth. What is that equivalent number of teeth? It is a number of teeth equivalent to spur gear in a imaginary plane perpendicular to helix angle. So I'll just show, this is the gear actually. Okay, what I'm just showing, that rectangular, this is the gear, and you have the helix angle. Okay, this axis. Okay, in a plane perpendicular to that AA is perpendicular to the helix angle plane. When you project that, you can notice you will get an ellipse. What is that? That ellipse, x square plus y square. Okay, I think equation of straight line, that is a square by b plus b square by b. I think equation of ellipse is there, no? That major axis, minor axis, it will fall in that particular. So as if you see that number of teeth are more in that particular, because that area is more as comparative to the this thing. So that is the virtual number of teeth. Okay, I'll read out quickly. The intersection of plane AA and pitch cylinder extended produce an ellipse. This ellipse is shown in a dotted line. Whatever is there, it is shown in dotted line. The semi-major axis d divided by 2 cos beta. Semi-major axis and semi-minor axis, that is d by 2. Okay, major axis d by 2 cos beta. Why cos beta? Because you have to make it in this particular horizontal this thing. Okay, and semi major axis is d by 2 cos beta, semi minor axis is d by 2. Sorry, it is along this particular plane major axis, and this particular plane minor axis. So minor axis is d by 2, and this one is actually d by 2 cos beta here, d by 2 cos beta over here. It is through the trigonometry. by the equation of ellipse, the radius of curvature at point is a square by b, which I told r dash. So r dash is that particular imaginary this radius. Just see from this thing r dash, it is r dash over here. That is imaginary radius. It is a square by b, where a and b are semi-major and semi-minor axes respectively. When you substitute a and b in r dash expression, you will get d divided by 2. Just look into that, 2 cos square beta, and the number of teeth, let it be z dash on imaginary spur gear called virtual number of teeth. You have got this particular relations, that is normal pitch is equal to pi d by z, and d equal to 2 times r dash, and again d equal to z divided by mn. Mn is m suffix n. It is a normal module. Refer equation 12.19a, 12.19e. When you do substitute, do the simplification, ultimately you will get this expression 12.22a, page 211. That is z equivalent equal to z divided by cos cube beta, where beta is helix angle. So this expression will be not same as whatever you used to do in spur gear, that is m equal to d by z, something you used to do, no? So that relation will not hold good for helical gear. So you have to remember that. Okay, so this relation, of course, there is no derivation as I told, but you should know this is going to be one of the important. Most of the students, in spite of telling they substitute spur gear relations for helical and then end up in the wrong what you say problem analysis. Okay, please refer all equations pertaining to helical gear in helical gear section of your data book. So further, so I'll just continue design procedure. So any doubts anybody is having, I'll just pause here. So design procedure, it is almost same. So today I will complete the design procedure. Hardly there are some 4 or 5 slides are there, so they are self readable. Okay, this I will make a video, you can pause and go through and then make yourself. Is that okay? Any one of you unmute and tell, is that okay? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. Design
Yes,
procedure
sir.
for helical gear. This design procedure, of course, it may be contradictory for you. I told you have to refer equations in helical gear, but now I am telling the design procedure is the same. Procedure means what? You had step number 1, selection of material, minimum number of teeth, and design criteria, module calculation, dynamic wear. Same procedure you have to follow, but equation pertaining to helical gear section, you remember that. Okay, the first step, it is repetition. Those who have not attended my previous class of spur gear, you can just see here and then make yourself. The first one is selection of material. In case if material is not given in the problem, you have to follow the same procedure as that of spur gear. What is that? You assume both that pinion and gear as same material, and third step can be avoided, because if the material is same, it is all the time pinion which is going to be weaker. Okay, so you can do that and then continue with that. So for that referring, you have to refer table 12.22, page 241. This is step number 1. And again, how to select that material, that also elaborately I have explained in my previous video. Okay, which is only video, not a class video. Okay, so just see that if the power is less than 200 watts, if it is up to 7 kilowatt, if it is more than 7 kilowatt, what are the materials? Same procedure also holds good here. Then second step, minimum number of teeth on pinion to avoid interference. Okay, it is Z1, same procedure as that of spur gear, but all teeth are represented in terms of virtual number of teeth or equivalent number of teeth. That means Z you will take from the same table, that is whatever, please refer the table, you take that, but you have to calculate Z equivalent. Do not keep Z as it is, you should calculate Z equivalent, that is Z divided by cos cube beta. Beta will be given helix angle generally. If not given, I will tell while solving the problem what value you have to select. Okay, and again one more important, do not round off this Z equivalent. It is imaginary. Imaginary means not true. Okay, so don't round it off like the equivalent that other time you have you have this thing. What is that? Minimum number of teeth. Okay, you have made an assumption and rounded off, no? So something like even, odd and all. So like that, don't round off actually. After calculating or whatever, you keep as it is, whatever that value z equivalent comes through this expression. Okay, after that, step number 3. Okay, 1 second. 1 second, what happened? Yeah. Again, I'll read it out in continuation of same step. In case a center distance between pinion and gear is given in the problem, do not assume a minimum number of teeth on pinion. This very elaborately we have discussed. If center distance is given, do not assume the number of teeth, because what happens if you assume the number of teeth, your module will get fixed up. Do not assume minimum number of teeth. For that, you use batch equation, similarly what you did in the previous. Okay, in case of spur gear, note module what you estimate here using batch equation is a transverse module. Transverse module means what? Module in the direction of rotation. Okay, here, okay, that is module in the direction of gear rotation, and do not round off this. Please note down. Generally what you used to do after calculating the module, you used to round off the module in spur gears considering the standard table. But here, please do not round off that module. Keep as it is. That module you convert it into normal module. What is the normal module? Mn. Okay, whatever you get batch equation, it will be m. That m keep as it is and convert into mn using this relation 12.19c. After getting this mn you round off referring the same table, that is a table 12.2 page 229, which you have referred for spur gear. Okay, that is first choice. The second choice you did same thing you have to do here as well. But again, please note down, the module what you are referring is not the transverse module m. That is, transverse means in the direction of gear rotation. Gear rotation means viewing from the rotation direction. Okay, there are two views in the direction of rotation. That is one view. Okay, and one more view is perpendicular to the tooth profile. Okay, so that way you should refer that in the direction perpendicular to the tooth profile is normal module. Okay, that you have to refer and then round it off considering the same table. I'll just go to the next slide. Okay, another couple of slides are there. I think, shall we stop here or shall we continue another? Shall we stop or continue? Hello, anyone for that matter? Shall we stop or continue? Anybody?
Continue in the next class.
Continue, sir. Continue, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I with this slide I'll continue because it's already 12:15. I don't want to make you burden. This with this thing I'll just stop. Okay, and the next step is going to be design criteria. So design criteria is the same as that of your what you say spur gear only. So spur gear, how you did actually? Spur gear you did sigma d into y of pinion, sigma d into y of gear, whichever is the smaller quantity amongst these two, that is going to be the weaker parameter, and your design criteria will be on that. If the product is smaller for pinion is going to be design criteria. If the product is smaller for the gear is going to be design criteria. Remember, for calculating y is what? Lewis form factor. In that Lewis form factor, you should substitute in place of z, you should substitute z equivalent. Why z equivalent? Because that is the imaginary, on the imaginary plane what you have considered. So that is not a real, it is virtual. That virtual number of teeth what you have calculated, that you should consider and then substitute in the same expression. There is no separate equation given actually. I think again I'm contradicting. Why contradicting? I told equation you have to refer from helical gear only, but helical gear they have not given separate equation for this particular. Only for this you should refer the spur gear, that whatever that y Lewis factor equations are there. Again, in that, in place of z, you should substitute z equivalent. That is the thing. Other than that, rest of things are same. That product, whichever is smaller, that is going to be the design criteria. Next one is going to be module. Again, in the calculation of module, I'll go to next slide. I think it is half actually. In the next slide I have clearly this thing. You have a separate equation for calculation of module. Again, it is a Lewis equation only. There are some more terms other than what you have considered in spur gear. Like 2mt was there, it was m actually, cube root, it is mn here, which is given 12.24b, page 214. It is mn cube root of 2 times mt. CW was not there, it was CS was there. Here it is CW, that is wear and lubrication factor. I will tell what is that wear and lubrication factor. And you have cos beta, which was not there in spur gear. Here it is there. Sigma D, it was there. CV, it was there. K was there. Y was there. It was Z. Remember, I told actually don't substitute Z. Please remember, Z is Z cube cos beta, that is already taken. So here it should Z only. Again, don't substitute Z equivalent here, because that Z by cos cube beta is there now, that is taken over here, and again that is taken inside the cube root. You substitute whatever Z in this equation. So it is little confusing, little contradicting. So you do carefully and then correspondingly. So next it is going to be, I'll go to next slide. So with that I'll end. Okay, one second. Yeah, here it is helical this thing only gear. So module calculate same thing. So y is capital Y is again pi into y, that is y. So here for the 12.5c to 12.5, you replace z by z equivalent in that expression, that is already I have told. And b equal to k.5 k b by mn, it is actually. So b is 12.5 mn to 20 mn. Earlier it was 9.5 to 12.5. Here it is 12.5 to 20 mn. Okay, for a single helical and for herringbone, HERRINGBONE, or double helical. What it is something like tractor wheel. Just see. So this is a gear actually. This is the pinion. So this is called as a double helical gear. Double helical. So one, this is RH. This is LH. Again, this is LH. This is RH. Okay, RH will meet LH of this part, and the LH of this will meet RH of this part, but it is 1 unit only. It is 1 unit only. Again, ask how this is manufactured and all. Generally, they are separate. After they will be grouped together and then fixed to make one particular unit. So this is a double helical or herringbone gear. Okay, for that you have the B relation separate. That is, B should be between 20 mn to 30 mn, which is given in expression 12.23 G. Page 213. And CW is wear and lubrication factor. Wear means, as you are aware, the contact is continuous along the tooth profile, not like only one, and then more than one teeth are in touch with. So wear is going to be more as comparative to the spur gear here. So you must be take that factor also into account, that is CW. Okay, you have the 3 different cases. If you just see that table, you have the scant lubrication and very worst case, and then there is one more. I'll just 1 second, I'll page 241, all of you open parallelly. So I'll explain with that. 241, page 241, all of you open that. So if you just look into that, there are 12.21 for enclosed gear condition. It is very ideal. Ideal means what? All the time your gears are immersed in the oil, and the oil is having perfect character, that viscosity oil characteristics, which is not true. And again, next one is scant lubrication. Scant means sometime you have the lubrication, sometime you don't have the lubrication. The last one is indifferent lubrication. Indifferent lubrication means very worst case. Worst case means only one time you put the oil and you forget. So don't assume worst case. If you assume worst case, look into that CW value unnecessarily. You will be taking too large value, and if you consider too ideal, CW value will be very small. For that matter, you assume average, that is scant lubrication, which is 1.25 in the expression. If it is given, you assume accordingly. If it is not given, CW take scant and then take into account. Rest all things are same. That is sigma D, refer this table. CV, refer this table. MT torque, you make this, and in the Z this thing, whatever that design criteria is there, you use according to that Z in this particular expression and calculate the module MN. Okay, I'll stop here, and if anybody is having any doubt, you can ask, and I will stop presentation also, and I'll go back. We will stop totally. Okay, I'll just discard and then I'll go to this thing. hope it is clear, and it is already 12:20. So if there are no questions, we will stop here. We will stop here. Anybody having questions? So there are 44 guys. So the attendance of that is already, I told, I think most of you are joining through the link. You have not yet this thing, I think, probably. So others, how they have done to get the name, please do accordingly and then join the class. There are 44. Strength is quite good. There is absolutely no problem. I'll stop recording. And if there are any questions, okay,